Can't decipher what she's saying.
Yeah.
We will call the open session to order. Please stand for the pledge. Together, I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reporting from closed session. The board voted and approved the contract with Dr. Walsh. The following are the results of the vote. Trustee Arzamendi abstained. The following voted yes: Upton, Hicks, Jordan, Villarreal, and Gutierrez, and Trustee Lashbrook voted no. So the contract has been approved by the Board of Trustees. Okay, moving to number 5. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda, Dr. Walsh?
No, but I do want to make clear to the registered nursing people and to the Outreach Initiative events people that presentations are not public comments, and that's why we preview them and have their materials ahead of time, that we are prepared to see your presentation as presented and placed on the agenda as a presentation. Time limits are public comment. They fall into that part of the board policy. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We would like to hear the registered nursing presentation.
I think you should this. Oh, no.
Good evening, board members, administrators, and audience. My name is Kitty Cazares. I am faculty and the RN program director. It is my pleasure to share with you a brief introduction of our grant project and introduce you to our 2 faculty members who have actually worked on the success of this partnership. Song Brown is a state-funded program that supports all allied health education programs. It focuses on programs that are in underserved areas that have a diverse population. We applied for funding under special projects and were awarded a 2-year grant for just over $90,000. We have shared the success of this program with other nursing faculty programs at our conference in Tahoe this last spring. We received very positive feedback, and they were the ones that actually encouraged us to come share it with our board. We are taking a 1.5-hour presentation and making it 5 minutes, so I know it's going to be very fast. So I want to introduce our 2 instructors who have led this project: Leah Zhang, who is our simulation coordinator, and Karen Heidelbeck, who is our theater arts instructor.
So what we've done with this program is currently we have a simulation program with the simulators or the mannequins. And with this grant, we've asked that if we can use actors, and so this collaboration was for that, was to collaborate with the theater arts department, their students, have them act as our simulator per se, and have them do case scenarios for the nursing students to take care of, to kind of initiate those real life care delivery systems that we currently have in place at the hospital. That way when they get to the real world, they know exactly what, or somewhat of a, reality there is for those practice sessions that we do with the theater arts students. So We've done a great deal last semester. We've started the simulation integration with the nursing students already. We've received positive responses from all the students. And this semester we hope to do more in as far as cultural aspects and just develop that further. So, you know, we hope to make things, you know, even better this semester. Okay?
Hello there. Many don't know that actors can actually make money as a professional standardized patient. So this is one of the reasons I was really excited about this program, is because it helps my theater students realize their dreams of being a professional actor, as most of them want to be before, you know, in addition to costume designers and directors and stage managers and things. But this is actually quite a good living. It actually pays a union wage at places like Stanford and UCSF. So what we did in this last year was prepare the students. We started with 6, and we currently have 4 actors. We wanted to start small, preparing them to appear as standardized patients. Primarily, our first scenario was schizophrenia. So any actor is going to be interested in playing a schizophrenic. And we wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have actors playing caricatures. So we did a lot of study into schizophrenia, how that manifests itself into different people, because obviously it's different for everyone. Also, we did a lot of improvisation. And with this grant, we received quite a bit of video equipment. Most of our students here in Merced County have never been in front of a camera. Obviously, if you're going to be an actor, that's really important. So that video equipment is going to help our program, help our students actually get comfortable in front of a camera, in addition to actually recording all of the work they do as standardized patients, which they can then use in what's called an audition reel, which is an important part of an actor's portfolio when they go out into the world and work, when they leave us behind. So at the moment, where we currently are is the actors were getting comfortable in schizophrenic shoes, and now we will be adding cultural differences, familiar family exchanges to the scenarios with the nursing students. They've obviously played a lot with improvisational techniques. Every actor has actually learned how to set up, take down all of the cameras, green screens, lighting. They have all learned the editing equipment, made videos, learned how to narrate and overdub video, which is extremely important. In the coming year, we're going to be adding to the scenarios, adding additional diagnoses like anxiety disorder. We have to train new students because, as we know, and what's great is that they graduate and go on and do different things, so we'll be adding new students to the mix and creating their audition reels, so when they go out into the world, they can have something to show their work. In addition, the big thing that we need to do now is create a course for when the grant money runs out, which it will. They keep telling me it's going to run out. So we will be creating a class for the theater students to use to get this experience. Currently, they are being paid through the grant an hourly wage for their work. And now we're going to show video. Click what? This is one of our students.
Oh.
So this is in our sim lab here. You've got the schizophrenia.
Right, so I got some meds for you today. We're doing your 9 o'clock meds. We've got Ativan for anxiety. Ativan. What's that for? For anxiety. That feeling of that fluttery feeling in your chest and your pulse kind of racing.
I feel okay.
You feel
I
okay?
don't feel like my pulse is racing at all.
You don't? Did you take that medication yesterday, do you remember?
I don't need medication.
You don't need any medication? Well, the doctor has you prescribed on some Ativan and...
The doctor wants me to forget.
Do you want to take your medication today?
What is the medication for?
This medication is Zephyrex. It's for schizophrenia. It's for
schizophrenia.
It's for schizophrenia. It's for short-term acute manic episodes associated with.
I don't know what that means.
It's to help you feel better, to help you not have that paranoid feeling, that anxious feeling.
I'm not paranoid. I'm perfectly fine. Look at me.
I can't tell you what a wonderful job Karen has done with these actors. And it really has a way that, as a community campus, to show how we have so many things in common, because in the nursing area, I don't think a theater arts student had any idea what some of the things they deal with. And we had no idea what it took to prep for these roles. And so I know when we presented to the nursing faculty, now other nursing programs are using faculty to play those roles, because of course with psychiatric, you can't have a mannequin. And as far as I know, we are the first nursing program to use drama students. And so I am very proud of our faculty who have actually got this role for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing some very interesting new ways of doing.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, we will now have our outreach initiatives and events.
Thank you. Good evening. I think we should get some actors and actresses to come into the Student Services building too and help us out. That would be great. That was very good. Tonight I'd like to give you an update. Many of you have participated in outreach activities with Student Services. You hear me brag about our team often. We have several of them here tonight. If you're in Student Services, raise your hand if you don't mind. Oh, the whole back row. So we've been doing quite a bit of outreach this past year. And it's not just the Office of Relations with Schools, although they have a big part in that. It's our entire division. So we want to give you an update on what we've been doing and the impact that we think it's beginning to make on growth within the district. So I want to just provide an overview of outreach and growth strategies, a little bit about our outreach efforts and the return on investment that we're seeing so far. And then Dr. McCandless is going to give you an overview of this past Saturday's event, which you heard earlier as well. Just a recap of some of the things we've been doing. Direct services to all of our feeder schools. You'll recall that when we did our tour of high schools, they told us they wanted counselors on site. Now we have a counselor on site at every feeder school. We provide education planning sessions at every feeder school, assessment. We do application workshops. And then we do customized workshops as requested. We've also assigned a student success and support program technician to different high schools within our feeder school areas. So we have 4, we call it SSSP technicians, and those 4 technicians have divided out the feeder schools, and they're the liaisons. So oftentimes those high schools will call one of the SSSP technicians and say, hey, we need an application workshop, or what do I need to do about our comprehensive ed plans for our students, or abbreviated ed plans, or we only have a tour on campus, and they're the liaisons for us in that regard. We've also done increased outreach to our community, just to give you a bit of a flavor of some of the things we've tried and continue to try. We did some outreach at our mall. We had the first 4 weeks of open registration. We had SSSP techs and other student support services staff at the mall for the first 4 weeks on Fridays and Saturdays. We participated in National Night Out with Tom Trinidad in our community. We're looking at participating in the local street fairs that are happening, the street festivals. We went to all the community forums, and we had a table there for community members if they were interested in learning about Merced College. And we continue to do one-off events as we hear about them and people request. As a reminder, what we did last year was we revised the enrollment priorities to reduce barriers for students. And we're seeing that pay off for us within the district. But we used to have 8 enrollment priorities. We convened a shared governance task force to take a look at those enrollment priorities. We reduced them from 8 to 4, with the 5th one as kind of an open enrollment. High schools moved from being last in the enrollment priorities to number 3. And so they were very happy about that. That is our low-hanging fruit as far as the pipeline is for new students here at Merced College. And then after enrollment step number 4, 5 is now open enrollment. And last but not least, you'll hear about some of these when we did Blue Devil Preview Days, increased campus tours, and Dr. McCandless will talk about extreme registration, if I give him any time to talk, within our 5-minute allotment. Here's some data in front of you. Basically, we're tracking pretty well in all of our student success and support program completion data. Comprehensive education plans are down, but that's because these are all new students. So they have to get 15 units before they have to get a comprehensive ed plan. So they'll get there. But the good numbers are, we're seeing students take more courses. We're seeing them take increased average unit loads, which is good. We're going to start pushing our students to take more this next year. And then the slide I really want to highlight is unduplicated head count as of August 6th is up by 305. Total number of applications up by 600. And total number of high school applications up by 92. So we're seeing the fruit of our efforts, so we thank you for all your support, and I'll turn it over to Dr. McCandless. 30 seconds.
So really quickly, this past Saturday we had extreme registration. You've heard some of it already from Greg Soto. He did a great job coordinating the counseling portion. Really thankful for that. The impetus for extreme registration is the fact that our instructors, they hit the ground running from day one. They're giving students information, and we saw a lot of students that were starting to add late. And so we thought we could mitigate the negative impacts of students starting class after classes actually began by providing all the services prior to the semester in one day for students that were having difficulty getting to campus during normal operational hours. And so we took them from application all the way through the registration workshops, getting them enrolled in classes, and then also providing them access to special programs, ability to buy their textbooks that day, and parking passes. So they had a lot of opportunity to take advantage of all the services that they would have on a normal day at the college. It was a total team effort, and this is my chance to brag on everybody, because this wasn't just student services either. IT was out there. We had the library taking part, the bookstore, counselors, staff. I mean, it was amazing how everybody worked, and they were so flexible and so intent on serving students. Any student that showed up that day had a first-class experience. They were served, and they left feeling happy and good about the experience and excited to start the fall semester, which we can't really ask for anything more. So it's really well done. Some of the numbers as far as how we served our students. We had 119 applications that were processed. 104 students went through orientation. 86 students completed assessment. 125 abbreviated ed plans were completed. Financial aid, those student contacts I forgot to put in there. There are a significant number of those. We had 452 total registrations with 260 unique students. A total of 1,215 total units were enrolled on Saturday. So it's really good. So, any questions?
Board member have any question or comment?
Question. Do you have any of those number breakdowns for those Vines campus?
We do. The numbers I provided were district numbers. Las Vegas does have some. We need to query them a little bit different. But from talking to Darcy Kipnis, who's our Las Vegas Student Services Manager and oversaw the program over there, about 100 students were served in various capacities over their day. They're quite busy, and they did a great job as well.
Yeah, we should brag on that for just a moment, that the what you guys approved to have a student services manager in Los Banos was absolutely the right thing to do. Having that liaison for all of our managers to oversee student services is only going to benefit our high school partners over there, but also, I mean, the comprehensive services we were providing on Saturday were parallel to what we were doing here. And it's just such good energy over there right now with her on board and the team. So it's working really well. Thanks for asking.
All right, yeah, thank you. I did meet her, and I promised her I'd be there Saturday at noon, and I just couldn't get my plumbing fixed at home, so I didn't make it. Apologies.
What are your plans for this next year, this next semester for all?
Well, we're going to do the same counselor administrators meeting that we had last year in December at the Business Resource Center, which we had almost 100 administrators and counselors attend. We want to move that up, though. We want to do it a little bit earlier in the fall. So we're looking at late September. We've actually been talking to at least one administrator. There's another one I need to talk to related to the Learning Resource Center, maybe holding it there. But that's a discussion I'll have with the goals eventually. But we want to have them on campus because we had it down at the Business Resource Center and they love that, but many of them would like tours of campus and others, and we'll make sure you all get an invite and we save the date on that. We're also going to start doing more high school application workshops in the fall because we used to open up applications in March when I first got here. Last year we moved it to February 1st. This year we're going to move it to November 1st. And we're going to start making it to where students can apply early and they can get the application and start the process. We saw a tremendous amount of high schools on board with helping us get students through the process, and now we have counselors there. So we think that'll really benefit us. And I mentioned to you guys we probably do the high school tour once every 2 to 3 years. I think in the spring we'll do that again too, at all your schools, and just go sit down with them as administrators, talk to them about their needs are, make sure that we're hitting the mark. But you know, we're getting in our groove. We're having a lot of fun. We've got a dynamic team to do it, so it's been good.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say how impressed I am that you're doing things differently to capture the folks that want to attend Merced College, that we're meeting the needs of the community and the students that we can provide the services for. I can just imagine how difficult it could be for some folks that have never had family members in college, and then they have this opportunity there to open it up. I'm excited about the enrollment, but more so about each of those students that get to participate. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to your staff and the staff that participated over the weekend and throughout the summer. We're going to have a positive outlook coming into the fall, and it's thanks to you guys for putting that effort out.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm going to brag on Dr. McCandless. He does
not too much.
Not too much, yeah, not too much, because he's got to get through the double doors in the back. But he does a phenomenal job, and our team, they just are highly motivated to help students. So it's a good team. It certainly is because of their commitment to our students, which is good. Any other questions, comments?
When will we know that all these great numbers up front are really going to have students and the FTEs that we need later? Will we know?
I mean, we're starting to see the fruits of the labor there. I would say that once census hits in fall, so yeah, September, 5 weeks in or so, 4 weeks in, we'll have an idea of where we're at for the fall term as far as FTS. I mean, you do need to remember that we're having some significant changes this upcoming year. One is the change in the BOC fee waiver. Students who are on probation, academic probation for 2 consecutive semesters no longer qualify for the BOC fee waiver. That's substantial when 70% of our students qualify and receive that type of aid. So that's been mandated. So, you know, that's why we're doing everything we can to get more students and to kind of throw our net out wider. But I'm sure Dr. Ellison will have reports on enrollment management for you all as we get further into the semester.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, we're kind of doing that type of intrusive counseling where you can catch these people before they
Yeah, we have an intrusive counselor that is located in the tutorial center right now, so that we are trying to get in touch there. And we're also working to make it a little more intuitive to refer people to our tutorial center, and we hope to have that for the fall.
That is actually a term, so everybody knows intrusive counseling. Sometimes people think it sounds odd.
I went to a conference once.
Yeah, you got it. You got the lingo.
Would you be so kind? May I ask that the row back there that participate, would you guys stand? So I want to. Could you stand like that? Folks that raise their hands.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Walsh, you had a comment?
The thing that impressed me the most were the families that came, the parents that were there with their children or their nephews or their nieces. I want to say a nice touch was the sandwiches we had for people, so that I got to spend some time with a father with 2 tiny children who had a teenager who was registering. And just the time that you were able to spend with people. I walked one young man to the library that Mike handed off to me, who his business is willing to pay for him to go to school to learn how to be a better welder. He is a welder. They're willing to send him to school and pay our fees and buy his books, but they need him to fit his welding classes in with what he's doing at work. And he got to sit down and talk. I mean, that's not an easy fix. and he was able to sit down with a counselor. And I mean, just sit down and talk with him for a long time and get that resolved. And I think that really touched my heart. I mean, there were a lot of people who came on that day who needed that extra care, and you were able to provide it. So thank you, Dr. McCandless. Greg Soto, thank you for all the work that you did over in the library, making sure that people who came in saw the right people who were there. So thank you.
Our thanks to those who gave us our wonderful updates and presentations. Continue the good work. Outstanding. Okay, board, we have a consent agenda. You've had a chance to go through it. Is there a motion to accept?
I'd like to,
Okay, you'd like to list something?
yeah, just, MC 2796, just for more discussion.
So you're pulling item F.
Pardon me?
You're pulling item F on the agenda?
I guess, I don't
Contracts?
know, I did the petition number.
Under contract?
No, the item that's listed on the agenda is contracts. Is that?
Mine went down again. It's under contract.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to lift letter E, warrant, no, F, contract.
2796.
2796. Is there anything else anybody wishes to lift for discussion?
I also have an item I'd like to lift for discussion, item 2804, the MOU.
So it's on, we have to lift an agenda item, so it's
It
contracts.
is item 7, agenda item 7,
Which letter?
letter F. Is
So
that-
trustee Lashbrook's pulled that already.
And the number is 2804.
The whole item's already pulled, contracts have been pulled. So you can talk about any contract on board.
2804.
2804, okay. Is that it? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we will proceed to vote. And how do you vote, Desiree? Okay, student trustee votes yes.
Weren't there two of them?
They're both in the same section. Everyone voted?
No, I didn't mind everything. That's where I am. My authentication to the server has been lost. I've already logged in.
Would you like to tell me your vote and all? Would you like to tell me your vote and all three? I can register it on here, you tell me.
Oh, yeah, yes, then I guess I go out and get back in. Is that what I need to do? Have these things? Where's our?
Okay, we have unanimously approved the consent agenda with the exception of section F. We will now go to item number 2796. 2796. All right, Chris, you want to refer to this?
Sure. This is my name, but this actually is something that we discussed in cabinet quite a bit. A couple times in cabinet, we discussed our inventory on campus as far as space goes. And it was decided in cabinet that the manager on our campus who typically does this, Sheila Flores, needed to focus on the inventory assessment of that. And so as a cabinet, all of us, everyone sitting at my table and the other managers, it was discussed to have them do this. Now, what you should know is that yes, you see a design fee, but even when we go through a furniture company, they have a design fee as well. They just build it into the cost of the furniture. Most architects or designers will tell you that. And so when we discuss this in cabinet to get these done in such a short amount of time, and not all of these projects are mine, by the way, it's pretty intuitive of who they are, but HR, of course, is HR, library is the library, IAC is Dr. Ellison in instruction. The Lester building is mine with student services. The staff dining room is a project that Dr. Walsh wanted to see us work on to possibly match the student cafeteria that we're redoing. Study Central was allocated funds through mandated cost reimbursement. That is Tamazia Drummond, and then the Lester building falls under student services. But what you should know is that when you approve the mandated cost reimbursement, there was approximately $17,000 in miscellaneous design fees and another allocation for each of these projects for the most part. And so these fees come out of those mandated cost reimbursement. To expect that one manager on campus could focus on all of these competing priorities and get all these projects done in a short amount of time we thought was unrealistic. So I hope that explains it. I will say that Darden Architects has done many projects throughout the valley. They're currently building the Yosemite Community College District building. They do all of State Center Community College's work. They've done all the Madera Center Community College centers. They do the elementary school districts. They do them in our local area. They're fantastic. They're doing a good job, and they're doing it quickly, which is what we need. We need someone to come in, do these things quickly, provide the diagrams and the specs that we need, and they're just doing a fantastic job. So this is not above and beyond anything. This is all things that are built into the projects that you've approved for mandated cost reimbursements.
I guess we've had a local firm that we've had a relationship with. I was just wondering if those things were compared, or if they were just kind of pushed out for this last year firm.
Ooh, what firm?
Oh, what is that?
You're referring to Lionakis?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, they've done many projects for us. They're doing one of Yosemite's projects too in their community college district. It's healthy to make sure that we don't always necessarily go to the same vendors over and over. Lionakis is a phenomenal design firm. They've done a lot of good work for us. We've gotten some projects back from them recently. It's been a little high. I mean, the estimated cost to redo the counters and financial aid that Sheila Flores got was close to $100,000, which we ended up doing it in-house for around $10,000. And so, you know, and Dr. Schultz has also worked on getting this firm to work on the bookstore project, and they got 3 different folks to come in, and Darden Architects came in as the one they wanted to go with for that too. So her team has been really satisfied with them, with the project they're doing with the bookstore. They chose them. They've kind of been plug and play for us, and it's been really good and really fast, and that's what we were wanting.
Are we going to vote on each one of these separately, or are we going to listen to both of them?
I want us to vote on them separately.
If they want to pull a specific contract, that can be in the motion, or else they all go together as one item.
There's only 2.
So we just need to listen together.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Oh, but in a way, I guess I just want to make sure it's fair, and again, we're dealing with the local as much as we can. We're bidding when we have to and not working around those.
Well, I don't think Lionakis is local, by the way.
Lionakis isn't
They're
local.
based out of,
That's something that she's talking about.
I believe they're based out of Modesto.
No,
The furniture
it's
company is
Sacramento,
just a sales rep that's local. It's not necessarily local in general. But this didn't require a bid. This didn't meet the limits of requiring bids, those types of things. To do a bid for projects like the cafeteria, we're working with Chuck Hergenrader and Joanne's group to get bids for those projects. This is just the designer. So the local contractors will put bids, and Joanne's team does that. But this didn't meet that threshold.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard you say that, you know, if they aren't charging specifically for design, then it's usually in the price, but I was just wondering if we gave them a chance to get their.
we're using the local, or I don't know if they're local, but we're using the furniture company KI that Sheila's used. We're using them for many projects right now. They're working on new furniture for the International Student Services Office. They're ordering all of our chairs for the counseling department. So we're not using a local vendor. I don't even think they're local, Cindy, to be honest with you. They're KI's a national company, but we have a local salesperson. Yeah, a local salesperson. So they have people all over the country that sell furniture for them. Yeah.
All right, if there's no further questions, let's go to 2804.
Trustee Gutierrez, do you have a specific question?
I've got a couple of questions on that. On it says, memorandum of understanding to reimburse the services of the city of Merced to temporarily provide one police chief. And the first question is what does temporarily mean? But let me finish up, and then we'll do it all at the same time. The new police chief, from information I've read in the paper, was that he only has so many hours to work because he's retired, and he's gonna only work so many hours, and then he's gone, and then he's got to come back again. Can you clarify that? And then, and did we save any money going from the sheriff's department to the Merced Police Department?
Oh, so I do have those answers to that. Temporarily means just that this contract can go no further than December 31st, 2016. This was meant to meet a need for coverage beginning July the 1st. This MOU was done in consultation on the phone with our legal help as well as with city police. Captain Trinidad is indeed retired, and he is with us here tonight. And he has a limited amount of time, but in the event that the city passes a long-term contract, a longer-term answer will be involved in that contract. So he's really only here for the life of this contract, and his hours are such that they will fit into what we're asking him to do. And we also, it isn't with him specifically, this is with the Merced City Police Department. So in the event he needs to work beyond his, is it 960?
Yes, ma'am.
Beyond his 960, the city of Merced will meet that need with the captain. He is here, we think that his hours are going to last until we decide where to go next. And this is approximately what we're paying, what was in the contract that we, before the change, that we might have made with the Sheriff's Department. But what we're getting is a higher level officer. We're getting a captain for this, a higher level of authority and training for this money. So it's not a savings, but it's not going to be more.
And then just a final question. The coverage for the Los Mayas campus is just what, you're working with the city police, with our city police there? How is that covered?
Captain Trinidad, you want to come up and talk about your conversations with Chief Breezy?
Yes, good evening. Yes, I've talked with Chief Breezy, and what he's agreed to do, he's given Steve Marquez, our officer there at the Los Banas campus, a radio where they're going to be able to provide backup for him within the incident where he needs additional units. At the time, we're waiting for a purchasing order, and we go ahead and pay for the radios to be programmed for Los Banas, so they'll have help. I've had a conversation with Sheriff Fern Warranty, and he's also agreed that in the interim, if there is a 911, they will still respond to that, and they will contact myself, and then we'll arrange for any investigative services that need to be conducted. If I may, I can also let you know too, in regards to when my 960 ends, Chief Andrade has also made sure that there is going to be coverage. Captain Williams, even though he's doing administrative duties, he will come in and fill in for me until I'm able to work. PERS, since I'm in Cal PERS, it will only, and I'm retired, it will only allow me to work 960 hours in a PERS agency.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know exactly where this goes, but I know that when Merced sheriff's department left, they took some equipment with them, and then that's being replaced or needs to be replaced. When we compare the amount of this contract to the other one that included equipment, how are those looking?
The other contract didn't actually include equipment. That's why they took it with them. That equipment was on loan. And the other thing that with Captain Trinidad's help is we're actually upgrading that equipment. That equipment wasn't state-of-the-art. And so Captain Trinidad, with the help of Merced PD, is upgrading the equipment and will own it. That contract didn't pay for that equipment. It was on loan for the sheriff's department. And that's why they were able to take it with them. The equipment that we bought with our own dollars is still here on campus. And under this arrangement, what we're buying, with the advice of the Merced PD and through Mr. Hurley-Rader's office, we'll keep it no matter who oversees our police. We are actually going to own this.
Unless it doesn't work with our equipment.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. All right. Okay, the question's been called for. Is there a motion to approve these two items?
So moved.
Then moved and seconded that we approve these two items, and in so doing, the entire section F. All right, we will proceed to vote. There's no comment. Desiree, how do you vote?
Yes.
Student trustee votes yes.
Yeah, I'm having to re-log in. I vote yes.
Has everyone voted except trustee Lashbrook, who doesn't have the screen?
Yeah, I put her vote.
Well, I go back in through my restore previous session and it opens, but it won't let me vote, so I need to know whatever button I need to push back up here.
Log out of Board Docs and log back in.
I did, but where do I?
Okay.
You have to join the meeting.
You have, she votes yes, so you have placed it. Yeah. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, that completes the consent agenda. Moving to the board for discussion and or action. Authorization to award bid 2016 and 07. You mean 7? Is that 16, 17 or truly 07? 07.
But it's just number 7 in 2016.
Okay, got you. Okay. Do you wish to address this, Joanne?
Sure. This is the dugouts for the women's softball team, and there was a bid walk that was done on July 21st. We had 6 people do the bid walk. The bid specs were put together by Lionakis Engineering section, and it had to go to DSA for ADA compliance, and it was passed, came through, it went out to bid, and the 2 out of the 6 bid walkers that came through, 2 actually bid. The low bid was Hobbs Construction, and the high bid was at $230,000, so we chose the 174 to bring here to you today.
All right. I would entertain a motion.
Do we accept the bid?
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Now, does anyone wish to address this from the audience? Okay, it comes back to the board. Anyone on the board have any discussion or question? Comment?
Question. Is this going to be a whole new dugout?
It's going to be 2 whole new dugouts. And they'll be, instead of the wooden dugouts that we have now, they'll be cinder block, and just mirroring what we have for the men's baseball team.
So that means one for the opposing team as well?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
We're not going to leave them in wood and spiders. It's a nice idea, though, Joe, but we're not going to do that.
Save half the money.
Yeah.
It's a thought, we haven't thought of it.
We didn't go there, but.
Comment or question? Okay, seeing that no one has something further, we will proceed to vote. Desiree, how do you vote?
Yes.
Trustee Desiree Bush, yes. Okay, we have approved it unanimously. Phase 1 of reorganization plan for the fall of 2016. Is there a motion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve. Does anyone from the audience wish to address this phase 1 of reorganization plan?
Good evening, Patrick Mitchell, President, Merced College Faculty Association. I would just like to say that this type of proposal normally goes through shared governance. I would encourage the board to postpone making a decision on this plan until that's happened. I never heard that this plan was being considered until I saw the board agenda, so it has not been discussed throughout the college the way this type of plan normally is. And then the other thing I would like to say is that if the board does choose to act on this tonight, I want to recognize Trustee Arzamendi for abstaining from the vote on appointing the interim president. And I would suggest that, hopefully this goes without saying, but since part of this plan, a member of his family stands to benefit from this plan, I would suggest that Trustee Hicks do the same thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the audience? Okay, it comes back to the board. Board comment.
I can remember them.
Okay.
There's kind of an official discussion. Interim presidents are placeholders, and this is more of a reorganization than we allowed Dr. Taylor to do within his whole first year, without a lot of pushback and without the consultation of the rest of the school, the shared governance that belongs there. So I have a lot of trouble doing this kind of reorganization. I was looking at back when we board members were more involved in some task force and things, which I think is a good idea because we keep getting things coming in at us now where we don't know very deeply what's going on. But I went back and looked at the study, and there are not very many VPs of HR, and especially not in schools our size. And I don't have enough information about what other duties and people would be coming into that department at this point to vote on that, and I don't think any of us do. Another thing, a lot of these things are coming to us with no costs associated with them. We have no cost for any of these new positions or raises that have come to us. It is our fiduciary responsibility as a board, is one of the most important responsibilities we have. I could not make a yes vote on this day. I'm not saying forever, but I don't think we're ready to make this one, and it hasn't gone through processes, so it's no big hurry. Let's see, I got a few other notes here. And we have a salary study that is in process, and these are both, or at least one of them, are positions that would be affected by that. So we're looking at what other colleges do, how much people are being paid. It's in process. There is no hurry for these major changes on this reorg. It won't make a big difference. It won't make the school a better place. And I think we need to wait and do all the due process that's supposed to be done.
Okay, Jean?
When we vote on these, I'd like to see each one of them voted on individually. That will allow Trustee Hicks to vote on 3 of them.
All right, we have a first and a second.
Can I have
They agree to.
well, can I have an idea from our Brown Act person, if that is something that we can do?
If the motion is changed, if it's amended, yes.
Motion changes.
Can you speak to the motion, President?
Yeah, we're in discussion, and you can speak to the motion.
He was the maker of the motion, so.
I made the motion on the 4 individual. Did you get a second?
There's no motion yet. If it's an amendment that.
Have to deal with the first motion.
Yeah.
Go back to what was originally stated. Okay, the 2 individuals. You wish to withdraw your motion and restate it?
What was the original motion?
To approve the
Then
proposed
we would
reorg.
vote on this in a total package.
Who were the 2 people?
Trustee Arzamendi made the motion.
And who seconded it?
No, I wanted to speak to the discussion, I'm sorry. I wanted to speak to the former discussion period. But if
You made the motion.
So Trustee Arzamendi, you want to speak to the motion that's currently on the table?
Yes, I did. Okay, so when we look at this type of reorganization, and I've had the opportunity to listen to the faculty president speak, that he didn't know about this, and other people that don't know. I would propose we table or slow it down so that I would really like to see our college come together on these types of decisions. Everyone knows what's going on, everybody's aware. I'm not particularly opposed to all parts of this, but I do care about everyone having their chance at the table and their voice heard. That's important. And so I don't know exactly how we would proceed in that fashion, but I would like to table this so that all stakeholders in all of the areas of our college can participate, be heard, and then when we make this call on their behalf, we've heard from all the parties.
And if we were to postpone it for 1 month, that would give everyone 1 month to study it, and no one at that point could say they didn't have a chance to look at it.
If that's enough time, I don't know what the procedure is to get to all the different areas. I don't know what their meeting schedule is. Whatever, my proposal is to do it with mutual respect to all of the participants that would be wanting to be heard. Yes.
I agree with you, Gary, and I need to see a little more transparency.
Okay, let's go back to the motion. Well, you made it, you wish to withdraw. And we have further study and involve those different groups that should be part of this. Well, we can establish a time frame.
And we have to bring it back at
Bring it back to the next
September meeting.
I feel it's gonna take, this is right at the beginning of school, and it's a crazy time, and the constituencies need to have a meeting or 2 to discuss it. Usually, they have one to discuss it and then one to vote on it, so it's gonna take at least a couple months. And there is nothing I see here that if it doesn't happen for 3 months or 6 months, it's going to hurt the college. So, why are we in a hurry?
The farm manager one is
Well, we could bring
6
that
months
up
to make a
differently.
difference.
We could bring that up differently, but has that gone through program review? As the farm manager?
I thought it was with Trustee Jordan 2 years ago, and we were losing money on it then.
Has it gone through program review?
No, we were just out looking at, seeing what wasn't being done.
Has it gone through program review? I mean, that's what Dr.
Well,
Lynch, before she was in this situation, she said she was always.
And Trustee Lashbrook, I'll say this was brought to my attention. The challenge of asking for a farm manager through program review is no one manages the 100 acres to the north of us. And the 100 acres to the north of us have become not only a dump site, but also dangerous and unsightly. And no one owns that 100 acres to the north of us. So this is an area where we both have the potential to improve property that we own that would pay for itself, but no one owns it. I mean, this isn't a part of program review because it's not part of anybody's program, but it is a part of the management of the real estate of the college within the center of Merced, and it's a potential for us to not only make money and pay for that person, but also clean up what is clearly an unsightly and potentially hazardous situation. So this position and this concern was brought to me. I brought it to the board. Would be happy to price it out and talk about what it is. But this is really a management level position to talk about dealing with some really wonderful real estate we have that we haven't done anything with because we don't have anybody doing anything with it.
Can we bring that item back up next month?
If we had more information, I wouldn't mind that one at all. And we don't have a farm manager now?
No. No.
So that's, I mean, when I worked here, there was a farm manager.
We no longer have a farm manager.
Okay. So I can see that coming up, but then I think the ag department needs to work together on their needs.
The people making the decisions at the time, Trustee Jordan and I went out there, didn't have an agricultural background. We wanted to see money. At least in our opinion, and I farmed for 50 years.
And I farm too, but the board has not received any information, any figures on this. And so that's just, this is a good preliminary thing. It's kind of like a strategic plan, that these things have to be fleshed out. And so I'm more than willing to hear that one first. That sounds fine.
I go back to my my ask, which was that we would table this, we would give a chance for the constituencies in all the different groups to hear whether faculty, ag, all parties have a chance to listen to the plan and then be able to comment on the plan and then bring it back to the board and open it up that way. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, I have asked Trustee Leonel to withdraw his motion, and you are willing to do that?
Yes, I am. I'm willing to table the motion, bring it back in the next board meeting for discussion.
For discussion and for possible action.
And action, yes.
Please understand, this whole section, it says to the board for discussion and /or action. So are all board members in agreement to bring it back after those who need to be involved have been consulted? Okay, that's what we will do. We don't have to take a vote on that, do we?
Yes, we do.
We do, okay. We are going to take a vote.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we,
Do we have a date when we're going to postpone this?
to bring it back next board meeting. And of course, next board meeting, it may also be just simply discussion or possible action. Okay, Desiree, how do you vote? Okay, Trustee Desiree votes yes. Okay, it's unanimous. It will be brought back at the September meeting. Hopefully after those who need to be involved have become involved. All right. Additional requests from mandated cost reimbursement fund. Who's talking about this?
That would be me. We brought to the board last time, or a few months ago, expenditures for mandated cost reimbursement. And we remembered two things. One, that the board wanted to vote on items that were purchased from mandated cost reimbursement and that they directly serve students. And one of the things that, Vice President Vitelli already mentioned this, as we were preparing for the fall over the summer cabinet, and all three parts of the Vice President's, but certainly instruction and student services, we we're very interested in increasing the efficiency of our classrooms, as in how could we support the appropriate numbers of students that are contracted in the classrooms that we have in order to allow for enrollment growth. And we invited our space planner, Merle Cannon, as well as Sheila Flores and the rest of the cabinet, Joanne Schultz, into discussion. And there are some places where we can, if we put more furniture in rooms, we will be able to teach to the class caps taught in that room. And we had asked for furniture earlier, but our need to expand enrollment and to serve more students expanded that horizon. The same thing for community outreach. You've seen the success that we have had so far, and we are really trying to rebuild the bridge to the community. And this would allow us to do advertising, as well as for us to participate in items like the Feast program that is happening downtown, as well as Cap in Town, that we would be able to be a full partner in these events. And this would not only serve Merced College and grow the community, would also allow us to put our best foot forward for parents and students in the community. And the last we've already talked about, the contract with the Sheriff's Department did not allow for police equipment nor for continuous updating of police equipment. And when that contract ended, the equipment that they had placed here, they went away with them. It did not belong to the college. It was not items we purchased. And with the support of Captain Trindad and the Merced PD, we've identified some state-of-the-art equipment, including body cameras, that we want to provide to our officers to make them fully equipped. And that's what that item is for, and that would impact the safety of our students and staff.
Thank you for that explanation. Is there a motion?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comment from the audience? Okay, board, do you have any comments?
I'll read the question. I thought we had all that allocated out of that account. Where did this money come from?
Oh no, we have, Joanne, how much money is left in this account? $2 million, $3 million?
Well,
Left in the account unallocated, there's about $2 million, but this would come out of the contingency that we put in. What our plan was, as was presented by Dr. Walsh earlier, when this money was spent and all of the items were actually determined how much they actually were, whatever, if some came in under budget, the budget would flow back into the contingency to be reallocated to those, either those projects like this that came in higher than expected, or projects that all of a sudden came up in relation to some of these that could be allocated. So there's $100,000 in the money that has already, the budget that's already been allocated to be used for this. This is not touching that $2 million, whatever it is, at all.
Nor does it touch the new money. We got more mandated cost reimbursement this year.
Yes, we did.
And there were some items like the replacement for Polycom that came in way under budget. And so that this isn't any additional money that we asked for. It's just to redistribute the money, redistribute the money that we, the board already approved to different projects.
These are really round numbers, so you know, it just seems like, I don't know, I've done some grants and some things, it just seems kind of like a stab in each one. So with for the police equipment, is this adding on to some funding that's coming from somewhere else?
No, this is pretty much following the items that Captain Trindad requested that we get. This is $10,000 is pretty much right on what he had asked for. The furniture increase, the classrooms is almost exactly what we need to build onto that. We actually priced this out, and the $10,000 for community outreach, that's not a stab in the dark. That is actually what we want to pay for support to support the Feast program, to support some printing costs for the Feast program in Cap in Town. And that amount, we'll just go up to that amount. We won't go over it. But those were all thoughtfully. Those numbers are all thoughtful and reflect what we're trying to do.
Okay, any other questions?
I just want to say that if what I'm seeing here, Dr. Walsh, is items are being provided for our students. This is for our students. The furniture for the classrooms, and then the outreach, and we just had some great outreach here. And then the police equipment is the equipment we will keep. We will own that.
Right, we'll own that, and it'll have our ID
Okay.
tags on it, and
Okay.
it'll be kept on campus.
All right, thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve. We will proceed to vote. Our student trustee votes yes. Okay, we have approved it unanimously. Community members to serve on CEO hiring committee. And we will turn that over to you, Tracy.
Good evening. Well, tonight the board will approve the community members that the subcommittee selected to recommend to the entire board. And I will be giving you a packet. In the packet is the board policy that was updated in April for the selection process in your city. And tonight you have two things that you will be needing to do. You're going to be selecting as a board those community members that you would like to serve on the CEO selection committee. So you have two motions to consider. One, how many members you would like to have attend or be on that committee. And two, the names of the selected members. Behind the board policy, you'll see the CEO timeline, and it's indicated tonight's August 9th. This is the night you're going to approve those members to the committee. Behind that is a list of the applicants that came forward. The subcommittee met, or actually they reviewed the applications, and they selected up to 5 members to go forward. Their recommendations to you are indicated by the X's next to the names of the applications. So the two things that you need to do or discuss tonight is one, how many you want to go forward. The policy states that it's a minimum of 3. And for your reference, when you updated the policy, there are going to be 3 trustees that will sit on the committee, a minimum of 3 community members. There will be 5 faculty. There will be 3 classified professionals and 2 students from AMC. You will have 10 representing the constituencies of the college. You have 3 of the trustees. So you have indicated that you would like a minimum number. You don't have to necessarily stay with the minimum. You can have more if you so choose, but at least a minimum of 3 that will go forward.
Sorry, can you go over the stats? There's 3 trustees,
You'll
5
have
faculty.
There'll be 3 trustees, there'll be 3 community members, there will be 5 faculty, there will be 3 classified professionals, and 2 students. And 3? 2. So this is really your time to discuss how many you would like to go forward. So you'll need a motion to dedicate a number, and then after that motion, you'll need to have a motion of which names you'd like to, and then that's when you will give me the names that you would like for us to use. Yeah. And you'll notice that on the checks, you have those that were, all of the checks indicate a trustee's recommendation for that name to go forward.
It looks like we all decided to do 5. I mean, at least as check marks. But as part of this committee, it really wasn't a committee. We didn't work together, or at least not, and we didn't really have instructions. I don't feel that, even though we had a chance to go out and recruit people, to me, we should have had applications due and open until the end of the community forums, because that would have been a really good time to recruit community members. Yeah. Instead, it was like 2 or 3 forums in, the rest of the forums were after, and we didn't use those forums as a recruiting tool. So I'm looking at this list, and it is not diverse enough. I am not happy with the list as it is. But
What area would you like to see on? It's not there.
let's see. Unlike the county we live in, there is one Hispanic name here with one vote. And I think there was one person from Chowchilla, and I'm not sure which one that is.
There's one person from Atwater and one person from Chowchilla that I know.
Right, but it's still, I mean, it should be richer. Again, we don't, it's not, it does not represent the community that the college serves as well as I feel it should. I don't feel like the process was as all-encompassing as it should. And so therefore, I'd say we take all 90 days and we might get a stab at it.
Make a motion, can you just give a brief description of who these folks are and where they work and what they do?
No, actually, as part of the selection, the committee that reviewed the applications was able to see where they came from, their designation, if they were a community group or if they were just an individual. Part of the process of encouraging the community to participate, and realize that I believe this is one of the first times that we've really cast a large net out looking for community support. So it's somewhat unique. Perhaps the community did not fully engage in the process. We not only had our forums, but we also had radio spots that indicated the community could participate either by participating online with their own comments or being a part of the selection committee. We did go through the process that this was going to be a time commitment for the community members, and so that was laid out at the very beginning. We also had immediately in June, after the board had approved our timeline and going forward, how we were going to approach recruiting for the community. So we had that up on our website by June 2nd.
May I interject? Because you brought up something, not disagreeing with Trustee Lashbrook, but I know that when we went out to the community, we made it very clear that if you were on this committee, you had to go to every meeting, and if you missed, you were out because of the conditions of having to hear everything through. And I think that might have been a deterrent for some folks, because it is a huge commitment. It is a huge commitment. They were not only asked to, if they'd like to participate, but we also told them, you can't miss. You're not going to miss anything. If you do, you're out. And I don't know if that diminished the amount of participation. I know that for a lot of folks, the time commitment is probably the hardest challenge to get people to participate.
Gary, it did, because I talked to several people, and when you stress the commitment and the time, they didn't have the time for all of that. I know the people that we got that I know on here are willing to give time.
And I did too. When I talked to folks, they couldn't commit to every meeting and not, they said, well, I can't go this month, or, couldn't do it.
Tracy?
Going back to last week's comment about not including a couple of forums, we as board members were also tasked to get that information out to the community in our areas.
Right.
And not rely on the forums as well.
From what I asked for specifically to have an email packet sent to me that I could send out, and it came real late, like right a day or two before. But, I kind of asked for an outreach packet, and at least from what I see that's come to me, that wasn't provided. I wanted something that was kind of like an email. I could put my name in a few statements and send out to my community. That was not provided that I could find, that I noticed. And, we had a lot of things going on now too. We had a better group the last time we hired, or a more diverse group. And again, some of us thought there should have been a special meeting at the beginning of July, and one of the things I did ask for was to extend the date after the forums till after the last forum, and that we would have used those forums as a way to recruit, because they really weren't. And so I just feel like the process was not what it could and should be. And
I'd like to make a suggestion, maybe Cindy, if this might help. We have to pick 3 community members, right?
A minimum of 3.
Oh, as many as we want. Okay, well, I mean, it looks like the 3 X's are next to Shannon, and I understand she's African American.
She's not.
Is that?
Shannon is not African American.
That's what Wayne just told me.
You have 2 people here that work for legislators. Shannon works for.
This conversation for you, as you notice, that the X's indicate there were 3 people that reviewed applications. There are a minimum of 3 that have all 3 in agreement that they would include those names. There are 2 individuals that have 2 were selected, and then there are 2 individuals that only had 1 person select. So for the entire group that reviewed the applications, there are 3 names that all 3 indicated they'd like to recommend to the board.
But you don't get the widespread of all the areas if you take those 3.
Right.
Because the most people that were on that committee were Merced people who knew Merced people and didn't know Atwater, Dawes Palace, Chowchilla, and so forth.
And so therefore the trustees chose 5.
I have two questions, if I might add. Are all the other committee members, i.e. the classified and the faculty and so forth, being held to the same rigorous requirements if they miss a meeting, they're out?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all the same. I'm very happy to see people who are willing to volunteer. I'd like to see them all on, because we're going to lose some of those people because they're not paid by us.
Well, these were reviewed by the committee, so
Yes.
I would like to see all that have an X.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Because in the committee, for some reason, didn't pick a few. I think it should be, if one of the committee picked a person with an X after their name, I think we should include them. That would include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people.
And
they might drop out. Yeah.
And if we pick 3 and lose a couple, we're hurt. If we have 7 and lose a couple, we're all right.
I'd like to make a motion to select the individuals that have had a vote for 1 or 2 or 3 votes next to the name.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we include 7 names. And that we invite 7 members of the community to serve. All right. Is there any input from the audience concerning this? Okay, comes back to the board. Any further discussion on having 7 versus the minimum required 3, or what has been suggested by?
Tracy just named out all the different amounts of committee members, having more community members than our other groups here. Should stick with minimum of 5.
And we would take those at 2 and 3.
But the community, then you won't have any Hispanic people on community group. I'm sorry, that's not where we live.
May I just end, but not only do we look for, as the EEO officer, our constituency groups are very dedicated at trying to provide volunteers within our community college family that are of either ethnic origin or gender. So we look at trying to ensure that we have a very diverse, complete selection committee.
Yeah, I asked, last time that we participated in something of this sort, and Trustee Jordan, you were on that committee, did any of the folks miss and then had to step out? So I would propose we keep it at that. I know it may seem a little top heavy there, but you know, things happen, family things happen, someone's not gonna make it. I would rather have a full, you know, group, and then, you know, we might even, we tell them that we picked you, and they may say, you know, I changed my mind. You know, we don't know. We don't know what their commitments could change, and I don't think that that's too much of a stretch.
And the community group can work together to figure out how to fill each other's holes. If somebody can't be there for a while, they may have a way to report back or have them.
Unless they're out.
Unless you're there for every meeting, you cannot.
Which is why we need a big group.
I don't mind 7 because we are going to lose a few. And, you know, and they are the community. We are a community college.
I call the question.
Okay, the question's been called for. We will proceed to vote to place all individuals receiving 1, 2, or 3 X's be placed on the selection committee from this community. All right, how does our student trustee vote? She votes yes. Okay, it is unanimous. We will inform these 7 individuals that they will be serving if they possibly can. And you will give them the schedule.
I will give them the schedule. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.